This is Personal Injury Court.
Mr. Ciccone, what do you do that would require a ladder?
Okay, me and my father, we've been handyman for years. But now that I'm older, I needed to find something that was gonna help me make more money. I got a girlfriend now. You know women are expensive.
They are.
I gotta take them out every day, take them out to eat. They're not, at our age, they don't want McDonald's. They want Ruth Chris and all of that. So I had to step up my game. I need a new car, I need a new house. So I said, you know what? Let me become a painter. Now, I only been painting for a couple of months now. Recently, I got offered a new job, like a big job with a big house. The ladder that I had was kind of busted, so I needed a new ladder. So I called the company that was supposedly experts in ladders. Worst mistake of my life.
And that's when you call the tailors?
Yeah.
Now, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, tell me how long y'all been making ladders?
Your Honor, my wife and I have been together. This next year will be 20 years, and of that time, 15 years we've owned this company. We have, between us, more than 40 years' experience in the painting business.
So ladders are your business?
Yes, sir. In fact, I came home one day and I explained, honey, you want to take it?
Absolutely. So he came home and he said, you know what, this job I was just on, the ladder wasn't sturdy. We can make a better ladder. I know we can. Thought about it, we researched and researched. I said, you know what, we can find a ladder that's lightweight, that's sturdy, and that's exactly what we did.
So your ladders are lightweight, they're sturdy, so
Absolutely.
people can carry them around, right?
Yes, sir.
So you use the ladder, then what happened?
Okay, I'm on a ladder. I realized that this ladder has no shelf. Okay?
Why does it need a shelf?
Because I'm a painter, I have to put the paint cans on the shelf in order to dip the paint and be able to paint the house. I'm holding the paint can with my right hand, brush on my left. I'm in there brushing away, right? I'm doing my thing, but the ladder is very unstable, okay? So now, as I go to dip the brush in the paint can, the ladder tips over and I hit that ground. Now listen, Your Honor.
You fell from the top of this ladder
I fell
down?
the top of the ladder. I hit that ground so hard, I thought every bone in my body was broken. I went to go move my hip and it was over with. It was a wrap. And my elbow, I knew I broke it from the way I looked at it.
You put on the evidence that you asked for a ladder. You told them you're a big guy. You relied on them and their website that said they had light, sturdy ladders that would do the job. You asked for the right ladder and they sent you the wrong one. You tried to make do because you were trying to get your hustle on, and I understand that. You fall, you have terrible injuries, and you believe this is all their fault and they should pay.
Right.
You all say he asked for a ladder and you gave him what he wanted.
Yes, sir.
The reason he fell, according to you, is he's leaning or he's misusing or did something to cause his own injuries. You all could have asked through your customer service person, what kind of ladder do you need? What kind of job are you going to do? And then this problem would have never happened. You all have certain responsibilities, just kind of a good customer service way. But the law is a little bit different. The law requires that you actually did something wrong. Here, Mr. Ciccone, you claim this ladder did not function properly. The evidence shows that the ladder did what ladders do. You misused this ladder by knowing that it didn't have what you needed. You go to the top, you lean over instead of getting down, moving the ladder, and you fall to your detriment. Right. You are responsible for your own injuries. As much as it pains me to find against you, you have not proven that the tailor's ladder was defective, and that's where the inquiry ends. I find in favor of the tailors and against you. That is my final verdict, and this matter is adjourned. Is my understanding that you were walking your dog. Tell me about that. Why this park?
Your Honor, I live in a beautiful neighborhood, and it's located with a fountain park and also a doggy park. I've lived there for about 8 years now. I was recently diagnosed with atherosclerosis, which is a hardening of the arteries.
Okay.
And so I need to exercise daily. I have to exercise due to my health and per my doctor. So I go to this park for about 30, 35 minutes every day to walk my dog, Ziggy.
Okay, what kind of dog is Ziggy?
He's a Shih Tzu. There he is right there.
Yeah, those
That's
are
my baby.
Great dogs. Mine was, I had a Shih Tzu too, and it was called Zulu. So, they're great dogs. Okay, now, Mr. Harold, this park that brought us here today, tell me about this park.
Well, Your Honor, I like to say that I do represent the city of Dillon, and I will say that we take great pride. We have at least a dozen parks right here within the city limits.
Okay.
And everyone moves here just to become part of the great outdoors there. Now, the city main focus is family and the community, okay? Our fountains, a source of fun, if you say.
Now, on this day, there wasn't fun, so tell me about it.
Okay, Your Honor. The doggy park is located right near the fountain park. So around 6 a.m. in the morning, I looked outside and I noticed that it was these huge bubbles just overflowing, going everywhere. And that's not normal. So I decided to call 911 to let them know about the emergency because it looks like it was going to escalate to something more. So I laid back down once I made the phone call and I woke back up around 8:30 because that's what time I usually take Ziggy for a walk.
Yes, ma'am.
And I looked outside and I noticed that it was gone. Looked like it was cleaned up, so that was good for me. It was
As
safe.
in no bubbles?
There was a few, but it was lower. It wasn't as high as it was.
Okay.
So it was safe enough for me to go for my walk. And Your Honor, I do have an exhibit to show you if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay.
Take your time. Come to the plasma screen and show me how this happened.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bear with me.
So tell me what we're looking at and explain this for me.
Your Honor, this is me and this is Ziggy. And we're inside of the doggy park. And as you can see, Your Honor, this gate doesn't close all the way. The city was notified several times and it does not close. So at this point, I'm gonna unleash Ziggy and he gets distracted by these bubbles that are going everywhere and he runs towards the bubbles. So as you can see, they're going everywhere. I run and bang, I hit my knee against this iron metal bench that I can no longer see. And the bubbles are escalating. I mean, Your Honor, it was like a giant snowman that was just coming up from nowhere. The bubbles start going everywhere. It was blinding me and I hit my knee and it gushes open and there was blood everywhere.
Mr. Harold, on behalf of the municipality, you believe that if she had simply kept Ziggy on the leash, and even after he was off the leash, if she had simply waited and let Ziggy come back to her, then this would have never happened.
That's correct, yeah.
She and the prankster, you blame all of this on the prankster, really, right?
He was
That's
at home
correct.
asleep.
Whenever there are multiple causes, potential causes for any outcome, every judge has to weigh the various causes and assign value to them, percentages. It can only be 100%. The prankster has to get something. That's called apportionment. The second legal principle is, what does a municipality do after they get reasonable notice of a problem?
No.
How much time is reasonable? 3, 4 hours? There's no judge in the world that's going to find that to be reasonable, regardless of what time your workers came to work that day. So I find you've proven that the municipality
That's right,
was
Your
wrong.
Honor. That's right.
But Ms. Anson, don't start celebrating now, because the third principle is called contributory negligence. In this case, 3 responsible forces came together. The prankster, the city not coming out in time, and you letting Ziggy off the leash and walking into this wall of bubbles, and you must be held responsible. I find the prankster is 10% responsible. I find you are 30% responsible, and I find the municipality is 60% responsible. I enter a verdict in favor of the plaintiff for what represents 60% of what you are asking for. You're asking for $177,000. I am awarding to you 60% of that, which is $106,200 in your favor against the municipality. That's my final verdict, and this matter is adjourned.
As far as my relationship with Ms. Jenkins, we only met in passing. It was very brief. She came in asking for a restroom key, which I did give to her, but I left the premises soon after, so I have no knowledge of what went down.
So once you got the restroom key, what happened?
Since he gives me the bathroom key, it's a key attached to this big chunk of wood and says the restroom's out back, you know? So I go out back, there's a grimy door with a unisex sign on it. So I'm thinking, oh man. Wow. And you know, I go inside and immediately the sight and the smell of this bathroom almost made me lose my lunch. I mean, just the smell, if I could describe it, it's like stale urine and rotten trash. Yeah.
That's the bathroom?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, that is. And it was absolutely disgusting. Unfortunately.
I can almost smell that through the screen.
You can. I think you can, you know?
So, Ms. Jenkins, how did you get hurt?
Okay, so Your Honor, after I walk into this disgusting death trap, there are more wet paper towels and junk all over the floor near the stall. So I'm going to use the restroom, you know, do what I gotta do, and as I'm going to use it, my foot slips on some of the paper towels that were under my feet, and I fall, you know? I hit my head really hard, and when I made contact with the ground, Your Honor—
That's what it looked like?
Yes, that right there. And when I made contact with the ground, I could hear my back crack and my leg snap, you know? And I laid there in agony because I couldn't move. I couldn't reach my phone to call my husband. And I laid there screaming for help for what felt like hours on this filthy floor. I mean, it was absolutely awful. It was a nightmare.
Mr. Flores, come on, man. Is that what your bathrooms look like?
Your Honor, I've never seen that picture before in my life.
Do you use that bathroom?
Your Honor, I've never had a problem with the facility.
Well, not whether it works, but whether it's disgusting.
Well, Your Honor, look, we had some issues with this restroom earlier in the day.
Okay.
We had a plumbing issue. What I did was I put a wet floor sign on the door after my plumber came in and rectified the situation.
So the toilet had overflowed before Miss Jenkins went into the bathroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's why you had the sign on the door?
Yes, Your Honor.
We had to go.
This is just nasty. It's just nasty.
It's awful.
You can't be proud of that bathroom, right, Mr. Flores?
Your Honor, to my defense, the floor was wet. We told her as plain as day. And as far—
The floor was filthy. I mean,
the floor is disgusting.
That's beyond wet.
Well, Your Honor, I was away from the premises at the time of this accident. I mean, how do we know that she didn't mess up the bathroom herself?
But let me.
Are you kidding me?
Mr. Flores.
Where could I have gotten that much dirt and mess to make it even look like that? Are you serious right now?
I know this is important to you. You've been injured, but you gotta address me. Mr. Flores, why didn't you just have somebody go in there and clean that bathroom up?
I was not there, Your Honor.
Well, let me give you a legal lesson. As a business owner, just because you leave the premises doesn't mean you're relieved of a responsibility to have your place be safe.
I agree.
But, Your Honor, as far as the restroom situation goes, Miss Jenkins could have alerted the clerk that was on duty of this horrendous bathroom condition.
Well, hold on for a minute. You mean y'all didn't know this bathroom was nasty?
Thank you.
I had no earthly idea.
Well, Miss Jenkins,
I'm
you
a part
did
of
know
myself.
it was
I
nasty.
did know that
right?
it was very nasty, Your Honor.
Y'all had nasty bathrooms, okay? But nasty does not mean negligence. Here, the legal principle is superior knowledge of a hazard. The hazard is debris on the floor that caused you to fall. Under the law, if Mr. Flores knows more about that hazard than you do, you win. If you both know about the hazard equally, you lose. Now, Ms. Jenkins, when you went into the bathroom, you knew the floor was gonna be wet because you saw the wet floor sign. When you opened the door and saw all the trash on the floor, you knew what the hazard was. You went into the stall, did your best, but the law says you knew as much about the hazard in that bathroom as Mr. Flores did. And I hate this ruling, but I am wedded to the law. I've got to find against you because you had equal knowledge of the hazard.
Yes.
So I find for the defendant. That's my final ruling, and this matter is adjourned.
Yes! Yes, sir! Oh!
Mr. Flores, you do not celebrate in my courtroom. You should be ashamed of the way these bathrooms were. The law is the only reason I found in your favor. If it was about how well you kept these bathrooms, or frankly, even your attitude, I'd give them everything they wanted and put you in jail. You gotta do better from this moment on and take your celebration elsewhere.